This is sample C7 and potentially C8, or the building block for C8. This is Fashion 110, 111, Sewing for Fashion Design 2, and Clothing Construction. I'm beginning with my second bias strip that I just cut for sample C5. I have a shoelace today for cording. You can use either soft cable cord, rat tail, or whatever round thing you want to use on the inside. I'm going to need to apply a cording foot for this machine. A cording foot is a foot that has a single toe with a notch cut out of it. A zipper foot will not work unless it's a single toe for this particular application. I'm going to change my foot right now. Now the notches on a cording foot can either be on the right side or the left side, and you can choose whatever works for you. On this one, I'm using a right hand cording foot. So the notch is on the right side. Okay, foot is applied to the machine. I'm going to begin by rolling my fabric around the shoelace, and I'm going to be stitching all the way down as tightly as I can to that shoelace. I'm going to begin right at the top. Back stitch and stitch along there. Now I have way more fabric than one would normally need for the sample. And we're going to be cutting this in half and using it for the next sample. Continuing on down. Keep your seam allowance consistent. And you can buy this in the store already done. The thing I don't like about it is that all the seam allowance on the store-bought stuff is 1/4 inch. And when you make your own piping, you can go ahead and control that seam allowance so you can make it as wide as your seam allowance, and then all you got to do is line up the edges, and it's a lot easier to use. So I'm going to end up with a 1/2 inch seam allowance on my piping. Okay, coming into the end. Done. Now to prep for the sample, the piping sample, C7, I'm going to remove the excess shoelace. I'm going to take my sample, cut it in half. I'm going to reserve this for the next sample, and this is my sample for C7.